Xavi Simons has had a tough start to life at Tottenham, but I believe there's an incredible player in there, and if used correctly, I think he can be one of the most dangerous and effective attackers in the Premier League. Here are a few examples of Xavi Simons playing so far this season for Spurs. As you can see, he spent most of his time out on the left hand side, mainly as a winger, and I think he's been completely wasted in this area of the pitch. What are his biggest strengths? His agility that allows him to fend off players, his pace that he can drive with, and spotting that eye of a needle pass, his creativity, his vision. You're nullifying most of them when he's out wide. He's not a fantastic 1v1 player, and in Thomas Frank's system, which focuses on a lot of overlapping runs from wing backs and full backs, it doesn't really allow him to be the main man and to have the freedom that he does when he's central. When Thomas Frank plays that 4-2-3-1, I believe in that 10 he can completely and utterly excel. I think he'll be brilliant. Now, I don't necessarily believe Frank's playing him out on the left because he thinks it's his best position. I think it's more a conveniency thing because we don't have much quality on that left. But Odobert linked up well with Udogie in that Brighton game when he was out there. And Simons, for most of his career, has excelled in that 10. He's allowed to use his strengths. And counter-attacking a team in transition with an overload, there aren't many other players I'd want in that number 10 position than Xavi. He's being completely wasted out on that left-hand side. Let me show you a few examples of him against Brighton when he actually came on and played in the number 10 role. As the 10 in this game, Xavi completely controlled it and dictated the tempo. He would drift often to the inside channels on both sides of the pitch and link up brilliantly with the fullbacks and the wingers. Often one Brighton player would come out of their structure, out of their shape to close down the ball, and it would almost be a rondo with 3 Spurs players passing it around them. You'd have Udogie, Odobert and Simons on the left hand side when the ball was out there, and on the right you'd have Pedro Porro, Mohamed Kudus and Xavi Simons. It felt like he was everywhere, and his pace allows him to be everywhere on the pitch when he's playing in the number 10 role. When we were trying to catch that out in transition as well, he would stay very central, directly in the middle of the pitch, and that would allow the other players, the likes of Kudus, Richarlison, Odobert, to make forward runs forward, and they were being spotted a lot more. We were playing okay before Xavi Simons was brought on, but when he was brought on in the 10, we completely controlled the game and could have easily won it. Moving Simons to the 10 also benefits the team in my opinion. A lot of our attacks so far this season have been slow, and that's because we've been lacking that player in the middle of the park who can connect the defence and attack. Xavi Simons can do that. He loves dropping into those pockets a little bit deeper into the pitch, driving and dribbling with the ball, and he's great at playing line breaking passes, which will benefit the likes of Brennan Johnson. We know that Johnson can't take on his man. We know he's not that good at drifting in, but what he is good at is making clever runs, hugging the touchline, staying out wide. And with his runs, he can blitz people with his pace. Xavi Simons will find those runs. Same with Richarlison. Not the best finisher, not the best player in general, but he does make a lot of good runs. And Xavi Simons, having the ball, driving with it in central areas, can spot them more. I think Simons in the 10 connects the whole team, and I believe he runs the show. Now, I've spoken a lot about how Xavi Simons in the 10 will hugely benefit Spurs in transition and when countering the opposition, but I also believe he'll be a huge asset when it comes to breaking down low blocks. We saw against Wolves that Spurs really struggled to move the ball quickly. Xavi Simons will hugely help with that. It will be much more one-touch football with him connecting things in the midfield, and he can be that key to unlocking stubborn defences. Whether it's 2 banks of 4, in extreme cases 2 banks of 5, it will be hard for the opposition to stay organised when we have a player like Simons in there. The big problem against Wolves was when our midfielders were getting the ball, they were taking 3, 4, sometimes even 5 touches and then playing it wide, and it was so easy for Wolves players to stay in their positions. When Simons is receiving it, 1 touch, turn, play it. 1 touch, turn, play it. Sometimes first pass, straight into the winger, straight into the fullback who's making an overlapping run. Things will move a lot quicker with him in that role, and I just don't understand why we haven't seen it so far. Like I said earlier in the video, I do get, right, that Thomas Frank doesn't have the best amount of quality when it comes to that left wing position and the options that he has, but you've got to be playing to this player's strengths. I'm a big fan of Thomas Frank, and I believe his 4-2-3-1 system, even his 4-3-3 system, will play into Simons' hands so well. I believe he can really get the best out of this guy, and I think once he goes into the 10, I'm not going to say if, once he goes into the 10, he will explode as a football player. And I don't mean literally blow up on the pitch, that would be quite tragic. I mean really start to impress. Guys, I'm going to make like a banana and split. Take care of yourselves, and as always, come on, you Spurs.